So we have two types of chains. We have a half by 1/8 of a ½ inch long by 1/8 inch wide, which is used on track bikes and single speed bikes with only one gear in effect. And we have derailleur chains, which are ½ by 3/32, and they're a narrower width because they need to be more flexible. Just drop the pin. Where's the pin gone? There it is. So, up until 25 years ago, that was the case. You had the two types of chain, one for derailleur bikes and one for single speed and track bicycles. But with the advent of 9-speed shifting, you had to have a narrower chain because the gap between the cassettes, between each cog, got narrower, so you had to have narrower side plates. And with 10-speed, it had to get narrow again, and then 11-speed, and then 12-speed. And I think there is a 13-speed system on the market. It's Rota, Spanish company, does 13-speed. As you can see with the derailleur chain, it's got quite a bit of movement in it. If you have a look, here, you can see how much that chain moves. Just over a relatively short length, that's about 6 inches, and that's how much movement that chain has, without any sort of pressure on deforming it at all. Okay, so fitting an 8-speed chain, most 9-speed chains and most 10-speed chains, you don't have to worry too much about what way round they go on the bike, whether it's that way round or that way round, because essentially they're a mirror image of each other. Each outer link is a mirror image. This one's slightly different. This has got different inner and outer links. So if you fit the chain to a 9-speed bike, it's relatively straightforward. If you fit the chain to an 11-speed bike or some 10-speed bikes, it gets a little bit more complicated in that the outer plates, and you see that outer plate there? That outer plate there? The outer plates are machined to aid downshifting, or they're machined to aid upshifting, which is why some chains are directional. You can either put it around that way, which is the right way, or that way, which would be the wrong way, and it won't shift as well. It might function okay, but it won't shift quite as well. So, this chain is clearly different on the two sides. It's got writing on one side, which says where it's made and what make it is. It's a Shimano chain, and on the inside it's just got hollowed out pins. Right, now I'm going to fit this with the writing to the outside, although there is nothing in the instructions that came with it to say that it should be fitted one way or the other. Okay, so that's the writing to the outside. So when you're fitting a chain and you're fitting it with a pin, this has got the outer plates. You can see that? That's the outer plates there. And the other side, the other end, has got the inner plates and the roller. That's the inner plates there, see, narrow ones, and that's a roller.
Okay.
Right. When you fit the chain with a pin, which is slowly becoming more obsolete way of doing things, you join it on the lower length of the bike. That has zero tension on it. And you always put the pin in the rearmost hole. So, can you see that, Virginia? So if you imagine this going around the chain ring, this is on the bottom of the bike, going towards the derailleur. The hole where you're going to put your pin in is towards the back. Right? So we've got our chain orientated correctly. Now to size it, Shimano suggest you put it on the biggest sprocket and the biggest chain ring. Okay, so you see that? And you see where it joins, you see where we've got an overlap of about 9 links. Okay, so we would take 9 links off that chain.
You haven't played it through the gear.
Oh, no, I'm measuring the length, Norman. Just hold fire.
Sorry.
So, to get the correct chain length according to Shimano's, what you would do is you would take off those 9 links, but you would, before doing that, you would add 2 on. So you would actually cut it with 7 links. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because you're leaving an overlap of approximately 2 links. And that gives you correct chain length. With that much overlap there. Can you see that? It's about 2.5 in effect. If I cut it with 7 off. Right, the other way of doing it is, and this is the way I do it, unless it's a super high-end Shimano Ultegra or Dura Ace 11-speed system. I would tend to do it the official Shimano way, just for being a bit anal and anarchy about it. So, when fitting the chain, always make sure the derailleur gear is set to your smallest sprocket, so that it's underneath the smallest sprocket, and basically you thread it through. The upper jockey wheel, that's the upper jockey wheel, or the guide pulley. Make sure it's, can you see this? Make sure it's inside this metal chain guide, not outside it. Because if it was outside it, that would make a hell of a racket and it wouldn't be very efficient. And you put it through your tension pulley, or your lower jockey wheel. Okay, and that's on the smallest chain ring on the front. And what I would do in this situation is I would set it so that there was just enough tension on the derailleur. There's no tension on the derailleur gear there. If you joined it there, there would be no tension in the chain. If it was joined there, no tension in the chain. That's not going to work, is it? So you'd want to be joining it where there was tension on the derailleur gear. There's just tension there on the derailleur gear. Now to make things easier for you, can you see the...
Yeah.
On these lovely little, you can actually make this out of a spoke or a piece of wire. When you're bending wire, if you bend it around something round to get a nice radius. It's quite nice. I like it. So that just holds it, see? Yeah? So I can play around with it and work out the length of the chain.
Is there too much tension that you can do it too short? How would you know?
You can do it too short, and you only know that when you try and do big to big and it all jams up. So I said I would take about 7 links off that. Yeah. I'm thinking if I was to join this with a pin, I would take 8 off it. Because if I take 7 off, it's going to be, the links are going to be mismatched. You can't have 2 outer links and 2 inner or 2 inner links joining, because an inner has to join with an outer, obviously. So that dictates it to a certain degree. But if you remember when we measured it, big sprocket, work out where they join, how many links you'd have to take off to get them to join with no overlap, and then add 2 links on, I said it would be 7 links we removed. Here, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, takes me to here, which is an inner. So I think I would take that, it can't have 2 inners joining, so I'd have to take that inner one off and join it to the outer. So it'd be slightly more, so the derailleur would be tensioned about there. Okay? So the question Scott now needs to answer is, does he want that joined with a pin, or does he want it joined with...
link. What would you recommend? I'll do what you think is the best, if I'm being honest.
Well,
Just copy it.
Hold on.
I mean, a pin is a perfectly good method to join it, but if it breaks when you're on the road, you'd have to have a quick link with you and a chain tool to repair it. So we can join that with a pin if you want, or you can put a quick link on it.
Does anyone carry a chain link remover?
Sorry?
Does anyone carry a chain link remover?
A few of the guys have got it on the tool. Most, a
Not
lot.
the multi-tools.
Few of the multi-tools.
I
have
do.
that.
Yeah.
But it's using it on the road is
Yeah,
I know.
easy.
You would recommend the link then? The quick link?
I would have a quick link in it, yeah.
Quick link it is.
So, have you got a quick link?
No.
Right, you need to get a 10-speed quick link.
Okay.
There's 10 speed in it. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 speed, yeah.
Oh, these things are 15 quid or something. Or is it just one, 1's 2, 3,
The one-
99, you
Yeah,
just like
take
4,
one off there.
Yeah.
Scissors. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you know there's somebody who's invented a derailleur gear system that uses ball bearings and detents? It's a shaft drive. Do you know what shaft drive is?
Yeah.
You get a pinion gear,
Yeah.
you get a shaft rotates, that rotation turns the back wheel.
Is that a bit like...
So it's
A
a shaft.
BMW motorbike.
yeah, that's what I was going to say, because
Yeah.
one of my clients had one.
Yeah.
That was it, yeah.
Shaft drives for bicycles never took on because they have inefficiency. The most efficient drivetrain is a clean chain, preferably on a single speed bike, which is perfect chain line. It would be about 99% efficient. Shaft drives, you lose in efficiency. So if you lose in efficiency, you've only got so much energy in your legs. So that's why that's why old-fashioned technology such as chains continue on bicycles, is because more modern ways of doing things like shaft drives don't work. Sorry, Scott.
Sorry.
Is this it here?
That's the one.
So,
You see this?
No, I can see it. No, I can see it. I can see it.
That's the last question.
yeah,
I take it that is the only point in the chain that would snap when you're out on the road?
no.
No. So what's the benefit of having that as opposed to just a pin if it can snap anywhere?
You're not going to stop it snapping, but you're going to be able to repair it with a quick link. Without, you know, if you take out the broken link, if you take it out where it's broken, make sure you've got 2 inner ends. You can put a quick link in, and that repairs your chain and enables you to get home.
No, but see, that's got a quick link in it now.
No, it doesn't.
No, you're going to put one in.
Yes.
Yeah, but if it snapped at the top of the chain, you'd need to have another quick link to take it.
Yeah, you would
To repair
carry
it,
you would
yeah.
carry a spare quick link
You
with
need-
you.
yeah. So you're saying that you want a quick link as opposed to the pin, but if it snaps somewhere else, there's no real benefit
You
having
should,
that.
no,
quick
you should
link.
carry a spare quick link.
Yeah, okay. Right,
Yeah.
good.
You should- any bike, if you can use a quick link in it, you should carry a spare quick link
Right.
as part of your toolkit to join the chain with when it's broken, unless you carry a joining pin
Yeah,
to join it.
which would be like a quick fiddly to get in.
Now you can carry a joining pin if you would prefer to do it that way, but I would say a quick link is easier
That's what we tried to, when I broke it the last time, to fit the joining pin in, and it was it fell out, and yeah.
Well, it needs to be really, really clean to fit a joining pin in, and you need to have it in the correct amount. It needs a little bit more skill to do it than fitting a quick link. Doesn't need a huge amount of skill, but it needs a little bit more. So
And on the road, it's difficult.
there's more, yeah. And if you're tired and it's raining and
Yeah.
you're hungry and
Freezing or whatever else.
And somebody's shouting
Yeah.
to get a move on.
But see, you put it Trevor, you
No
put
names. No back.
quick link in just now, and you're not introducing a weak point already, rather than using the pin. If you put a quick link in just now, is that not a
Middle size, yeah.
well,
weaker issue? I don't know, I'm just curious as to what's stronger.
I don't think either of those pins would be weaker than a link, than the actual pin here, because they're the same diameter. I mean, the only potential weakness of a quick link is where the indent is here. See that groove? You see that wee groove, Virginia?
Okay.
See that? That could be a potential weakness, because it's got a hard edge, a groove which is thinner, and then a wider edge. So it could be that is weaker than that. But I've never seen. I've seen them come apart because they've been put in incorrectly, or I've seen them just like wear with age, because it's in a plate here. See that thinner
Yes.
little ridge, joining ridge. See that little joining ridge which goes over there's a very thin joining ridge on the inside of the hole, like a ridge that slots over that little groove. Is that wears and they just start to fall off or get loose, you know. But I don't think they're weaker. I've certainly not seen any evidence of them being weaker than a regular join. But it's a good question though.
But if you've got a spare one in your kit anyway, so for any time.
I think it's potentially easier to fit this than to fit a joining link, a joining pin rather, like this. But if that's the way you prefer to do it, you know, that's the way to do it. It's whatever each individual person prefers.
Okay.
But yeah,
But unless you're pretty skilled and able to do it on the roof, you're better off with the quick link.
I've just never used, personally myself, I've never used joining pins. I've always used quick links, even before Shimano started doing quick links. And I've reused them to take off the chain, to clean it, to put it back on. I've reused the same quick link, and some you can't do that. They said you shouldn't be doing that. That they're single use only, but I've reused them and I haven't had any sort of problems with them. But with a pin, there is no choice. You do need to use a new pin in it. So you have to have a new pin available with you in order to join it or break your chain. So I think, I mean, they may be weaker. I don't know. I've not heard anything to that effect, but I think they're more convenient. But yes, it is part of your toolkit. Putting one on here isn't going to stop it snapping in any of the other 150.
I didn't know if it was just the weak point that would always go or right.
No, it could break anywhere on this chain. But if Scott has another quick link, he takes his chain tool out, he removes the damaged link, and he puts the quick link in. He's going to get home. In which case, Scott should then be taking the chain off and chucking it away.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I have carried on riding with broken chains that I've repaired.
So we'll need to buy a chain tool with a quick
But
link.
you get a chain tool on, and this is another reason possibly to use a quick link. You get a chain tool on most multi-tools, but the quality is a little bit more variable, and it might not be quite do quite a good job of joining a chain, or that might do a good job of breaking it, because it's relatively straightforward. It might not do such a good job of joining it. So I think that's another reason for quickly. But then again, this is
It's mainly
about.
like trying to light your bike and then you go out with a full tool set in your pocket, you know.
Yeah.
So, how many links am I taking out of this again? Remind me.
8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it was 7.
No, it was 7 and you had to
Ah,
make
you had to
make
update.
it up
Because you had
for
to allow for one for the chain link.
Ah,
one for the outer.
if using a pin, yeah.
Oh, right, if using the pin. Right.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You might actually have a chain tool. When you use it.
Yeah, I would take 7 links out of that. But yeah, it's 8 if you're using the pin.
Push the pin out. Right.
Because you're introducing another link, remember, if you're using a quick link. Okay, so Scott, are you wanting to break this chain? Do you want to come over and break it?
Okay.
Drum roll, drum roll.
I broke it the first time, that was the problem.
So breaking it here. Now, if you want to err on side of caution the first time you do this, you can always shorten the chain. You can't lengthen it. So I think it might just be too long if you do it like that, but I think you should do it like that anyway to have a wee practice.
To get practice,
2,
yeah,
3,
okay.
4, 5, 6, 7. So we're breaking it here.
There, okay.
Okay. So it's 7. So you can move your chain up to give yourself more room. So this is a workshop chain tool, so you wouldn't be carrying this on the road. You feel the weight of that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's got to do 20, 30, 40 chains a week or whatever, how many ever I do. Like quite often on these, the pin gets knackered, the malleable pin. So you have to get replacements from Park Tool. So you count your 7 up, yeah? Wherever that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
You put it over here. You support it. Now this pin is coming. This driver is coming towards the end of its life. I need to get a replacement. I've got one somewhere, but I can't find it. So you turn that, and then support it, and then turn it. You can wear gloves if you want. Yeah, just gently.
That's it.
That's it.
So just
Keep on going.
keep going.
And we're taking it all the way out. We don't worry about it. That's it. Whereas in the olden days, with before you had these replaceable pins or quick links, in the olden days, you used to have to push it out so far and leave it sticking out the outside link, so that you could rejoin your chain.
That's a lot smoother. I've got a wee cheap one I got out of Evans, I think, and that's a heck of a lot smoother. Using that,
I think it's
yeah.
not as good as what it should be because the end's starting to go on it. I'm on my second head so far, so. But sort of like a home mechanic one wouldn't last in the shop.
Yeah.
Home mechanic tools don't last in the shop.
Yeah.
They fail very quickly. I'm on my second torque wrench because I'm on the budget. I can't buy the fancy workshop one. I'm on my second torque wrench. First one lasted about a year. So when you're joining the chain with a quick link, it says 10. Yeah, on it. So you don't have 10 upside down, do you?
Okay.
Okay. So that's how you know which
You can
way
see how it
round.
goes.
Now I don't know the reason for that, but I'm just doing what I'm told. And it often works for me. to do what you're told, you know. So, can you see that we've got the little grooves? Can you see that, Virginia?
Yep.
Got a little grooves here. Now we're putting it in. Like that. Okay. So it's not fully joined, it's just connected, half connected, it's not fully seated. Alright? But we can check our chain length.
Taking that right.
Good as that.
Now, I think,
You can't more out of that if there's only 4 here. Yeah.
Hmm?
You've only 4 cut out at the moment, and you cut a couple out. Is that what you're going to do?
7.
7, okay.
7 half links.
Fair enough.
So I would suggest maybe taking another one out of that to make it a little bit shorter,
Okay.
because it's a little bit too close there. And it's all seated. So what we do is releasing it, and I would take out another 2 links so somebody else gets to have a wee practice.
So there's no tool required to put it on, it's just taking it off. It's
You need to-
equipment, you just let it.
Yeah, just
Right. Tension basically keeps it.
you want to short.
You need to crush it at that
When
point.
you have the
know?
quick link, you don't need it. You won't
Sorry.
need it.
Short. You've got some rest.
Shade them
Sorry,
out.
yeah.
Or maybe you do it. Maybe.
Don't ruin my bike now.
Everyone did
But that still
Where's
comes.
it go?
This one here. Yeah, so make sure it's seated.
Okay.
Now do you want to have a little bit more slack on that so you've got a little bit more dangly chain there to move?
Okay.
Right, and just control the tool so that you're comfortable with the tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always the thing to do, is to be in control of the tool. So is it seated nicely?
Yeah.
And you just turn it, and you should feel a little bit of pressure, but it shouldn't feel unduly. You should feel a little bit of like, and then a crack.
It's getting a bit tight actually.
Yeah, and then we'll crack. Keep going. That's it.
Take it all the way through.
All the way through. Yeah.
That's it.
Right, and then just wind it back. So if you was on the road and you broke a chain and you had to remove a link, that's what you would be doing. You'd be removing the broken link, get rid of the broken link, so that you've got.
Okay.
Did you take a link out of there, Robert?
Yes.
Where?
Oh, there was one coming out.
One coming out, is it? Yeah.
And it crack. Oh, is it still in there?
You need to take that one out.
Another one.
Yeah.
Somebody else want to go?
You took the inside one out. Sorry, I wasn't watching you.
You going? You do another go?
That gives everyone practice.
End up with no chain.
This thing's just destined to have no shade, isn't it, Scott?
Right, another one out. Good practice.
If I can see it, that's very respect.
Gotta get a magnifying glass.
Right, just this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over the little bridge. See a little
Right.
bridge? Yeah, take the chain out. It goes over that.
Ah, right, okay. I see. Oh, wait a minute, what one's that, Trevor? Money. Is that there? Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Make sure it's
Just like
seated.
that.
Yeah.
Just.
And then just hold the tool in one hand.
Yeah. All right.
Can you take the down your
Try and have it so that it's level.
So make it easy if you get it dead centre, Trevor, because I think that's a problem I had before.
Yeah.
Is if it gets off
It's got to be a-
centre.
it's
Yeah.
got to be aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just.
You just tighten.
Aye.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Just push it
Show all the way out.
right through it.
In the old days when I was blind, you just pushed it part of the way through.
Yes.
And then you just reversed the movement.
Put it back in, yeah.
Because you didn't have these joiners.
You can do that with an 8-speed chain.
Yeah.
You can, you know,
These days it was 5.
some 8-speed chains
Yeah.
or 5-speed chain,
Yeah.
6-speed chain.
But you can't do that with a say
No.
11 speed or anything.
No, you can't reuse a pin because the pin's likely to break.
Right.
Yeah, was a lot more easier, wasn't it? You used to have to come on, oh, not quite far enough, not quite far
that's
enough.
it. And if you actually put it right through, it was a real pain trying to
Oh,
line it to
yeah.
get it back in.
Right, that's it.
Okay. You push these in.
Yep.
Yep.
So, right, where are we now? So, we've got the link in, and we've got the link in, and we're pushing the pins through the holes. Okay, and then
Just checking it. Yeah.
so, how many links have we removed altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
8.
These are 8. And there's another one, wasn't there? 9.
Yeah.
And when we measured it the Shimano way, it said to remove
9 plus 2 or something, is that? 9
is it
minus
8?
2.
I think.
Minus 2.
I can't remember. 9 minus 2, 7.
Yeah.
And we've removed 9. So it's a little bit different to what Shimano said. So, there it is, up the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's still not perfectly joined, is
Yeah,
it?
it's not set.
So obviously we can't ride our bike like that. So we hold the wheel and we hold the crank, the pedal, the crank, yeah, so we're driving forwards. See that? So that means if we're driving forwards, this is under tension, yeah? Because we're pulling it forwards. There's no tension on here. So this is the easiest way to lock it.
Oh, yeah.
Some Shimano ones in particular, you wouldn't be able to do it by your hand. You'd have to get it on the floor, you'd have to put your front brake on, and you'd have to stand on the pedal to get it to lock. Now, if I was to
So it's like a slot, then you're pulling it tight into the slot then.
yeah, if I was to break that in the workshop, yeah, you're pulling it into a groove. If I was to break that in the workshop, I would use this.
Right.
I would put the clip on it and I would use that
Right.
at the bottom, not at the top. But if you're on the road, the only way to do it is to try and move it, push it forwards like that. So do it where there's no tension on the chain, and sometimes it's going to be difficult to do. So I don't want to break that because I've just put it on there, so it's got a limited amount of uses it can be reused.
So
But
essentially
you'd have to push that together and then break it apart. Okay, so you'd have to maybe flex the chain a little bit to do that. But times you'd have to remove that on the road, I can't really see a scenario unless it breaks here. If it broke here, you would just. So if it broke on the road, is what you would do is say it broke here, right, on the inside. So that link's knackered. You've got a quick link. So what you would have to do is you'd have to remove the damaged area of chain so that you had 2 inside bits. So you would actually have to, if it broke there on the inside, you'd have to break the chain here to get an inside bit. That's the damaged bit. You can't have that bit still on it because you can't join inside to outside, so you'd have to break the chain here. So you'd have to get rid of these 3 links here, see? with the damaged bit in the middle, you've got the two inside bits and you join it together with a quick link.
Okay.
Which you can fit a quick link without any tools. I didn't use any tools to fit that. If you have to break them on the road, then if you have to break a quick link on the road, well then you might want to think about carrying the tool to do that. But I can't think of a scenario where you'd want to break it unless you was on a touring holiday and you want to take your chain off halfway through a week's touring and clean it. But I've done 2 weeks touring, I've never taken the chain off to clean it. If you was on holiday with Kieran Mooney, I don't know if you know Kieran Mooney,
Yeah.
well he would be taking his chain off every day to clean it, and his cassette. So, that young kid. He's very fastidious.
To us.
So, hopefully your gears work. Oh, a bit of cable, not very sharp. Indexing's a bit out. So this slow shifting going up is due to insufficient cable tension.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't like that, see?
Yeah, you can see the angle on it.
So that is, that's because it's at an acute angle and it's going large to large, so you shouldn't really be using that. So you can see it's rubbing here.
Yeah, you can hear it. Yeah.
Because of the chain angle, it's rubbing on the front of the neck.
I know. Exactly.
So, in theory, you shouldn't go large to large.
You
It
shouldn't-
crosses,
You shouldn't
chain
go,
crosses
yeah,
over.
you shouldn't go large to large. You shouldn't go small to small really either. But the chain line is less acute here, small to small, than it is large to large. That's it. Job done.